Welcome to Let's Talk Jonesboro. Today we have Laura Pope, and she's with Project CARE. Welcome to Let's Talk, Laura.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, tell us what's going on. Project CARE, by the way, tell us a little bit about the history of it. You know, I know Mayor Copenhaver and Mary Housewright, and then, of course, you and probably other volunteers jumped in on this.
Yes. 2 years ago, Mayor Copenhaver came to Mary Housewright, that's in charge of Project Search, and they kind of got together and said, hey, we want to form this Project CARE group. It's made up of various people from the community. And so what the mission statement of Project CARE is to help the student special ed population to meet their needs through advocacy, support, and education, just to kind of improve their lives within the community.
And you know, it's such a rewarding thing, I think, to see, because these kids do have potential. These young adults do have potential to do things that are meaningful and worthwhile and fulfilling.
Yes, and I through Brooklyn Schools, I have a school to work program called the Wolf Program, and just some examples of how effective this work program has been is there have been several students that have obtained full-time jobs through this, through getting that extra training through either Project Search or through Brooklyn Schools. One example is a student that went through the program last year has now been hired full-time at the new primary cafeteria.
Very nice. Tell me about some of the feedback you get from people who do the hiring.
A lot of our students, even though they might have a reading disability or they might have a math disability, or maybe sometimes they have an issue with attention deficit, there are all kinds of ways to work around that. One of the suggestions that I make in my transition class is students who have a hard time keeping up with things is to make a list, make a check sheet. That's very helpful to people like that. Or maybe jot down reminders for them. But our students are very hard workers. Another example is that I mentioned this last year. A student in my past program 3 years ago even, he worked through the Wolf program with the IT department, and he wired and rewired additional wiring because we were getting additional internet at school, and so he did that, and he put up all the new projectors, overhead projectors in the classes. And at the time they were not able to hire any additional staff, so 3 years later IT department wanted this same student, and so 3 years later he now is working full-time, and he's been with Brooklyn for 2 years now.
You know, more than just the reward of helping a young person, the employers get
yes, the employers get a tax credit, so there is an incentive to hiring student, or not just students, but people with special needs. They get up to like a $2,400 tax credit. Of course, I think that tax credit amount is based on the number of people that they hire with a disability. That tax credit money goes back into their program as far as allowing them to make the accommodations that might need to be made in the workforce.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I know the city has hired some of your graduates as well.
Yes, matter of fact, I think there is one working in the mayor's building now, or the municipal building. In
the municipal center, that's right.
Yeah.
It's good. Now you have an experience in this through teaching at Brooklyn, but you are in charge of the education component or the transition component.
Yes, as far as Project CARE, I am the education chairperson, and so with that comes the transition fair has just been kind of been my thing. Years ago, we had transition fairs on a much smaller scale, and each school in Craighead County would rotate. But then when the fairgrounds came about, it has always been my dream to include not just our Craighead County school, not just our small school districts, but to expand. And this year we have been able to expand to Greene County, including Paragould School District and Greene County Tech.
Very nice. And let's define transition fair for people so they understand.
Okay. Well, the transition fair is designed to allow students in special needs population from grades 10 through 12 to come and meet with various vendors from various companies like Post, Hytrol, Butterball, some factories within town. And then we have other service agencies that could come and meet with even parents as well, like the Arkansas Transition Services, the Arkansas Workforce Services. So it's not only to provide employment opportunities and to see what's out there, but also to provide education opportunities that these students could maybe look into once they graduate high school.
Very nice. You don't just say, hey kids, meet here at this time, hey job partners, meet here at this time. You do a lot. There's a lot of work that goes into preparing the kids to be job ready or presentable in that regard, right?
Yes, and that's part of the transition class that several of our schools have, is that we offer those pre-employment skills such as resume writing, job interview skills. I think there's 15 most common interview questions that we practice with the students and kind of prepare them for interviewing. Prior to the transition fair, we each class throughout the school districts, we kind of go over that with the students so that when they are meeting and talking to these vendors, there's a possibility that they could be hired on the spot if there's something available.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now you've seen, this is year 2, so talk about some of the success stories from year 1.
Well, year 1, I had a student vendor. He was Joe Knows Your Lawn. He was he was a junior last year, and he came to advertise his business. He owns his own lawn care business. So since then, he has gained several residencies that he mows their yards. He's even picked up several that the mayor's office has forwarded to him. So his business has greatly increased since last year.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous.
I think he makes more money than I do.
Oh, I don't want to hear, but I'm proud.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I know
yeah.
there's a lot of money in that. But that's a really good example. You know, I believe it was early this year that you guys had a dinner, and a lot of your students served the mayors of Craighead County and their wives at a function, and so you clearly taught them or instructed them on how to host a party or an event.
Yes.
And so, what all things do you cover?
Social etiquette,
Okay.
and that's a part of this transition fair too. Is we have several breakout sessions. One of the breakout sessions will cover Facebook etiquette, what not to put on Facebook, especially because if you're interviewing for a job, that potential employers look at your Facebook, and so if you're putting partying pictures on your Facebook, then you know that might not be you might not be a good candidate for that place of business.
Oh.
And so stuff like that is addressed. Personal hygiene, dressing for success, or some of the other breakout sessions that we offer during the transition fair.
Very good, very good. And now we have the transition fair is coming up.
Yes, it's coming up on Tuesday, November the 7th. It will be held at Nettleton Baptist Church from 8:30 to 2:30. Students will get to meet with all the various vendors. We have Bliss Cupcakes will be there. Nothing But Cakes have donated 100 little buntlets. So it's lots of food. The theme this year is Americana, so we've got the popcorn, the apple pies and cherry pies and hot dogs, all the things that go with that.
Okay, Laura, tell us about a phone number or an email address or a way to contact if people want to learn more about this before they
Yes,
go.
I also wanted to invite, we invited the public schools, but I also need to extend that invitation to maybe parents of those who homeschool their special needs children
Sure.
in grades 10 through 12. So usually that is an age of 16 up.
Okay.
So they can reach out to me at lpope, P-O-P-E, at bpsbearcats.com. Or you can call me at 870-476-0282 if they need further information.
Wonderful, wonderful. Laura, thank you for taking time to do this, this very valuable type of work. This is, I'm sure it's rewarding for you, but I know it's time consuming, and but we appreciate you, and the mayor appreciates you guys for how much you do. So she's Laura Pope with Project Care, and Laura, we are so proud that you came to visit with us on Let's Talk Jonesboro.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you.